mourn if I'm slain. Instead entomb me like the pharaohs of old, not in a high ziggurat, but in a vault below flat ground covered by sand, where no questing eye shall find my bones. Raise no stealer and carve no inscription save one. In this tomb rests a true son of the Necrontyr, unmarked by its corruption. Open and be damned. That was said by little old Nep, the Untouched. He's a fleshy Necron. So some lore about Solemnus. It was a gallery before the Big Sleep, and it has a giant document collection that rivals the Black Library of the Eldari. Trazeen collected for it, but he didn't pay attention to it because it's books, and not much can go wrong with books. He hoped that when the Necron legions would awaken, the literature and history and stuff would be accessible, so then they would just leave him alone, and they wouldn't have to come to his museum and mess things up. So he went to the library, and he says, "I require assistance," and then solitude, and the chief librarian appears. "Is this about the proposed expansion, huh? There's too many books. I suggested we expand into the wine cellars, but the wine's in there. You don't drink it, bruv." "Of course not, it's too valuable. Request denied. Dig another chamber. And bring me everything about the war in heaven, Pharaon Nepreth, and the Asterium Mysterious. Bring it, and then go away." And he wants the legal code volumes on interdynastic theft and trials. Time skip. There is a planet, Mandragora the Golden, Mandragora of the Emerald Skies, the dynastic seat of the mighty Sautek. Orican hates it here. He would rather have stayed with the Drukhari. It used to be gold and lively, but now the silica grain dust storms have sanded the gold off to leave a brushed steel appearance everywhere. But he had to be here. It was his dynasty's planet. He had to maintain appearances. Also, it has the best automated defense network in the Empire, which is convenient for when you've stolen something from a very powerful, dangerous other Necron. He had come through the webway and seen the Eldari refugees walking aimlessly. He didn't blame them. He himself needed a century to meditate to recover after what they had birthed. Slanesh. The Eldari were ending in an era of lamentation and horror. Fair comeuppance for what your decadence has unleashed upon the galaxy. He spat on them. Ha pit. He went to his tower. This is his tower. He wants to look at his cube, but it was actually a pyramid before, and now it's more like a cube. His Astrium Mysterious calculators are measuring it. 8 faces, 12 edges, 6 vertices, a perfect octahedron. Not a pyramid as when he stole it. It had transmuted at some point on his travel through the warpway, but he didn't know when, because it's been 9 years. The device was made of living metal, with mercury in it, and an unknown crystal buried. Very strange. It's not like how Necrons build things at all, he thought. It was made by the Amunus dynasty, renowned for their secrecy and paranoia. Ori took pleasure in imagining the solar flare that hit their tomb world. Mass neural death in a few minutes. Basically, there was a tomb world that all of these boys from the Amunus dynasty were in, and they were all sleeping in their long sleep, and this solar flare came and messed with all the magnetic fields and everything, and basically shut everything down, and they all died in their sleep. And he likes this, because he doesn't like them. But if they're not alive, it means that no one knows how to open the cube. He's still trying to open it, he's tried talking to it, he's magicked it, he performed a seance. Nothing is happening. He has scarabs cleaning up around the room. They're just sort of cleaning up, clean. But they're not doing a very good job because he's a messy boy. But he notices that there's one scarab who isn't following the others. And he thinks about standing on it, but then he's like, probably shouldn't do that, you know. It's a special scarab. A chirophrase projection of the one person Ori didn't want to see pops into the room. It's a lady, but a Necron. Master Orican, seer of the Sautek, the one called Diviner. I am Executioner Filius of the Triarch Praetorians, herald of the Awakened Council. By order of the council, you are to present yourself on Becerra with immediate haste to face accusations brought on by Trazine, Overlord of Solemnus and Archaeovist of the Solemnance Galleries, relating to alleged acts on Solemnus. This scarab is slaved to your neural signature and will alert the council if it detects non-compliant travel. Failure to present yourself in original body, not a surrogate, will be punished by the cancellation of your resurrection protocols. Glory to the infinite empire. And then he's like, fuck's sake, this is not what I wanted. This is ridiculous. The courtroom. These are the boys. Lord Nemesis Zubaka, with his little judge hat on. Trazine, defending himself. Executioner Phileas, raring to go, sharpening her little scythe. She wants to kill someone. Trazine also hopes that Ori doesn't turn up, so that he can be hunted down and killed. He thinks it would be quite funny. Ferric Asoria of the Ritak, she's just a little old lady. High Metallurgist Kelka, he's a little old man, doing metal things. And they're just sort of chatting shit, having a little jerk around the circle, if you will. And then boom, there's a green light. And who is now here? Orican! Woo! And he's like, we gotta do this quickly, guys. This is boring. I'm accused of stealing an object from Lord Trazine and destroying old worthless clutter. Trazine wants Ori to admit guilt so he can die. He also doesn't like his worthless clutter being called worthless clutter, and he protests this every time. Ori says, I do not recognize this body, therefore it has no authority over me. As in the council. Trazine giggles to himself. Same old Orican, hostile to any authority, no matter how powerful. He would fist fight the sun if he thought it was telling him what to do. Why though? The council asks. It's worked before. It's a pretty good council, we think. To which Ori is prepared with an answer. High Metallurgist Kelka. Remember our disputes as kids? Ferricasoria, you owe me a debt for my services to aid your brothers. Lord Nemesor Zubika, you're like the French to me. No judgment made here will be free of bias. Plus my Pharaon won't be happy when he wakes up if I'm dead. He would use a Storm Lord. The boys commiserate. We will postpone then. Trazine says no, this is bullshit. The boys say okay. What do you want to do, Traz? Traz wheels through the law books in his mind. Ori smiles, thinking that he's at a loss, because he doesn't know that he's reading law books in his head. Until Traz says, I want a mediator. And the boys say, what? And this is basically in what they decided as a council. They made a load of new laws and stuff, but if those new laws don't cover something, or more effort is needed, they can use the old laws. And there's an old law that says you can bring in a mediator, which is a party that is not biased to either of these dynasties. The one that Trazine is part of and the one that Ori is part of. So, the boys go away, and they talk for 2 years. 2 years! Trying to find a mediator. And they find one. Overlord Vox. His neural matrices and his vocal actuators are awakened, but not his full body. So they just sort of wheel him around in a box. We need you to adjudicate a case. We've uploaded the files to you. This is Overlord Vox. Trazine renews his case. 12 years ago, Ori feloniously entered Solemnus to steal this artifact, the Asterium Mysterious, and destroying a host of precious cultural objects. And he starts playing a PowerPoint presentation, but I forgot that bit, so I didn't do it. Of broken objects. And then this guy, Zuburka, is like, wait, where did you get that pipe? It literally has my family's seal on it. Give me the pipe back. And then Trazine is like, oh, it's safer in our museum. Because Trazine is basically the British, and the pipes are basically those Greek marbles, and Zuburka is Greece. He wants the marbles back, and Trazine is like, no, they're safer with us, mate. And then Vox is like, just give up, mate. He's not gonna give them back. You are correct to protest his vandalism, says not Big Weld. But there's no need for the death penalty. Why did you escalate this so high? What is this puzzle box? Trazine says, it's a map to the tomb of Nepreth the Untouched, the last pharaoh of the Amunos dynasty. He was called the Untouched due to a genetic resistance to radiation-induced cancers. In the theatre version of this story, that lasts a decade, because time doesn't matter for Necron, so they made a play that runs for a decade. Nep was killed by Star-Lords and incinerated. But in reality, there's evidence to show that his own dynasty betrayed him in exchange for biotransference. But his relatives hedged their bets and kept this uncorrupted genetic example of a Necrontyr in case they didn't like the transference. Then the boys say, so why does Trazine want it? And Oricon's like, he just wants to display it in his museum. And then the boys are like, why does Ori want it? And Trazine is like, he doesn't believe in returning to flesh. He just wants to find it so he can destroy it, so then we can't return to flesh at all. And Ori says, ask how he acquired it. And he does a little cheeky giggle to himself. Trazine says, legitimately. Not Big Weld says, legitimately how? Trazine says, a solar flare killed their world. They won't claim it. It's a dead world. Legal under salvage. Not Big Weld says, alrighty then. And Ori chirps in, but when did you acquire it? My auguries say you stole it before the flare. Bum bum bum. Hold up. Trazine knew of the flare and raided for treats and then let them die? Says Not Big Weld. I foresaw his treachery, said Ori. Cheeky boy. So Trazine says, wait, so you knew about the flare too? And you didn't do anything? Did you hope to swoop in afterwards to take the artifact? And then Big Weld is like, fuck's sake. Executioner, take them both. But wait! It's not the end! Because Ori is a little sneaky boy, and he rewound time. So they got a different mediator this time. This time, it's Supreme Excellent Lady Yulim. So we've wound back to the bit where Trazine says they won't come to claim it. And Yulim says, I assume you're claiming salvage rights. Trazine feels weird though. From his fight at Solemnus with Ori, he has a piece of Ori's living metal on him, as a souvenir. And it's quite warm, and it looks a bit weird. And he feels a bit strange. And Ori says he's confused. I also have one of these. We were comparing them, but he's a confused old man and he thought I stole his. Trazine has done a spectrogram thing on the cube, and he says, you transmuted it. You've solved the first puzzle. It's the same, look, on my spectrogram. He's lying to you. And Ori says, oh, fuck. But wait, there's more! He went back in time again! They won't come to claim it, Trazine says, for the third time. And Overlord Baalbek, the new mediator. There may be other interested parties though. You can't just take shit. Ori's tile that Trazine had is now burning white hot, and his head hurts. Overlord Baalbek makes a final suggestion that is accepted. The council will want to find the tomb first. They think they'll be faster than Ori. And Baalbek says, very well. The mysterious will be owned by all and none, a free object belonging to whoever possesses it. Stealing it shall be no crime. Killing for it no sin. Trazine realizes what the Chronomancer has done in rewinding time a few times. And he sends him a little text into his little helmet that just says, war. And that's the end of chapter 4. Thank you for watching. I have a Discord and I stream Warhammer painting over on Twitch. Why not come join? Leave a like, subscribe, and a little comment.